Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This evening we shall explore the fifth of 5 passages of the Great Potentiality, the meditation classic penned, so many centuries ago by the great Buddhist reformer Vajra. Okay, here we go. Boy, I'm having some hiccups, so that should be exciting. If one follows the teachings of the monkey-like masters who are devoid of authentic knowledge, one could certainly end up on the wrong path that is actively conditioned by concepts. The one who can extract gold from minerals is an authentic master, whose teachings are most precious, a treasure worthy to be acquired for any price. So we have a dichotomy, if you will, a comparison between two types of teachers. One is monkey-like, and one is authentic. What are the attributes of a monkey-like master, a monkey-like teacher? And here we're not talking about the noble ape, we're talking about the screaming monkey who will steal the glasses off your face if you're visiting in India. What is characteristic of them? Well, they're devoid of authentic knowledge. But what does that look like? What does that sound like? Glad you asked. A monkey-like teacher is one that induces their students to be actively conditioned by concepts. And that's intriguing. What does that mean? To answer that question, I'm going to switch from this teaching text to a set of visual aids, both of which are available as free downloads as PDFs. Excuse me. Between my hiccups and my snarfing, I'm a delight. Okay, let's go over here. So, we have a monkey-like master and an authentic master. A monkey-like master will sincerely, 9 times out of 10, sincerely believe that it is best to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Even the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet says, hey man, fear is awesome. The authentic teacher chooses to be flexible, loving, rational, laid back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind. Well, we're on the subject, though, of the monkey-like teacher, the foolish teacher. A foolish teacher will implore their students to actively concentrate in dependence upon their medial prefrontal cortex and actively analyze in dependence upon their dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. When we overwork the front of our brain, it is inevitable that we will present with symptoms of depression, no less trigger our amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression. Or to put it differently, the seat of cowardice, cruelty, and competition. Fortunately. So that's where we end up. My first tantric teachers were on this path. They first led me on this path, and it made me miserable. It increased my anxiety, it increased my crankiness, and the anxiety and the crankiness of my sibling students upon the path. Regardless of sect, this is a universal thing. Rely on concentration and contemplation, and our journey will be defined by cowardice, cruelty, and competition, despite the loftiness of our aspirations. That's pretty negative. That's a great big fat bummer. How's about some good news? The one who can extract gold from minerals is an authentic master, whose teachings are most precious, a treasure worthy to be acquired at any price. The one who can extract gold from minerals, gold from dirt, is an authentic master. Well, what does that mean? What does that look like? How could that work? Oh, goodness. I am the Sultan of Schnarfing, am I not? Yes, good news. Neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex constitute the entirety of our central nervous system. Consider, if you will, our spinal cord, known in these times as our autonomic nervous system, and in days of yore as the seat of our Buddha nature. Every time we inhale, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of the spinal cord, described as the sympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. This includes the full spectrum of human experience, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What are we to do with that which we notice? Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the end bits of our spinal cord, like bookends on a shelf. This is described as our parasympathetic nervous system, and it has evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and even less defining. That's a whole lot of words. The wife of one of my teachers insisted that it's always good to have a hook to hang your hat on. It's always good to approach the teachings or to practice the teachings as simply and elegantly as possible. Here's how we can do that. Every time we feel our diaphragm stretch down as we inhale, silently and mentally we could recite the verb watch. Every time we feel our diaphragm relax back up into its upright position, silently and mentally we could, as it exhales, we silently and mentally we could recite the one-syllable verb rest. You see, we do not have to force our sympathetic nervous system to notice or our parasympathetic nervous system to relax. Our job is simple. Are we going to foolishly, actively compete against our autonomic nervous system through concentration and contemplation? Or are we going to passively cooperate with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems? But what's all this talk about separating gold from dust? Is that a reference to duality? Does that mean that we're going to reach for the ugly and reach for the beautiful and shove the ugly? We're going to reach for the melodious and shove the discordant? We're going to reach for the pleasurable and shove the painful, and so forth and so on? No. We're going to practice the non-duality that is not based in lies, in telling ourselves there's no difference between shit and chocolate, because most certainly there is. We're going to practice the non-duality that applies the same antidote to everything. Good or bad, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring. We're going to notice as we breathe in and relax as we breathe out. This is the essence of the most potent mindfulness and meditation. This is the key for us to avoid remaining a silly monkey, and instead becoming an authentic master in our own right. Having completed our opening lesson, we can now shift gears. It is General Leia Organa Saturday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Semdi Lama Jigme Gyatso, the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests, as well as my ADHD hyperfocus, to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I can become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Having received these instructions, let's now apply them. If you are prone to arthritis, you may wish to adjust your legs every 15 minutes or so. As we sit in meditation, we could experience the fear, the dread, that like Rip Van Winkle, we might close our eyes and then experience the opening of our eyes in what feels like a blink, only to realize a decade has sprinted by. That is one of the symptoms of our controlling tendencies. Nipping at our heels, nipping at our ankles like an Australian blue heeler. There's a simple remedy for that. Counting our inhalations. The easiest way to keep track of our first 16 inhalations is to touch the tip of our right thumb to the first, second, and third set of creases, and then tip of each of the 4 fingers of our right hand, for a total of 16. Counting 16 inhalations takes less than 2 minutes. If you wish to count a sufficient number of inhalations to last about 20 minutes, then instead of counting one set of 16 inhalations, you'll want to count 16 sets of 16 inhalations each, for a total of 256. We already know how to count individual inhalations on our right hand. On our left hand, we can count the sets, beginning with the 4 on the little finger, and then the 8 on the ring, the 12 on the middle, concluding with the 16 on the index. If you would prefer to sit in meditation for more than 20 minutes, for perhaps 40 or even 60, then I recommend gathering 3 collections of 16 sets of 16 inhalations each. How do we keep track of the first collection? Simple. We touch upon, let's try this way. We touch the tip of our left index finger upon the first knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. When it comes time, and then after gathering 256 inhalations, we could advance the tip of the left index finger up the back of the right index finger until we come to the second or middle knuckle of the right index finger. Having completed our second collection of 256 inhalations, we could advance the tip of our left index finger further up the back of our right index finger until we come to the teeny tiny third or highest knuckle. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. For I tend to check for questions about once every 5 minutes or so. If you are prone to arthritis, you might wish to adjust your legs every 15 minutes or so. If you are prone to arthritis, you might wish to adjust your legs every 15 minutes or so. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's morning meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.